Fiji water before, dog. Really?
Scientists prove it.
Really? I think it's like what we were speaking about earlier about how it seems like most people are not self-aware and they're so cut off from what is really happening in the streets. Even people that you would expect to be really socially conscious and aware of what is going on, they're really not. They're really rich now. They don't live in the street anymore. You know what I'm saying? People that live in the street are people like us, people like me. When you live next to 500 homeless people sleeping on the floor, and right across the street is a place where you can't even stand for 10 seconds without an alarm going off because of homeless people sleeping there. I think that you have to make personal sacrifices, even if it's just one person that you can relate to and be like, you're not alone. I think if everybody for 1 second dropped their mask and their pride and admitted to themselves, not to themselves, just said, I feel alone sometimes. And you said, I feel alone sometimes. And he said, I feel alone sometimes. You'll notice everybody feels alone sometimes. And it'll make you feel less alone. You know? In the 60s when there was Vietnam and all that shit, there was Bob Dylan, the Beatles, they're talking about Vietnam, they were talking about what was going on. Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Does J. Cole have a COVID song? You know? And these are the guys that you expect would make a pandemic song. I think people maybe are ashamed about not having money or singing about things that don't involve commercialism. You would think by turning on the TV that everybody in America is rich, you know? On 2 separate occasions, I've asked my friends' children, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they said famous. I said, famous for what? They said, I just want to be famous. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. At first, we played so many shows that we got burned out. Like, we started hating each other, you know? And also, like, when you go to bars and shit, there's drugs, there's vices, you know? You start living that hard life that's romanticized a lot. But, like, the people that romanticize it, they don't really talk about the withdrawals and all the bad shit. And also, country got a lot more difficult, you know? My father, when he came in 1972, about 1982, he was making 150 grand. You know, you come here from Cuba now, in 10 years, you're still waiting tables. So, times are just hard, man, you know? You gotta do shit, you gotta sacrifice. I couldn't rehearse 3 times a week anymore, you know? It's like I look back on those days, I see pictures and shit, and I'm like, yo, we used to meet 3 times a week at 10 a.m. It's like, yo, I can't do that. I couldn't do that. You know? But now you could do everything by yourself. And also, a lot of personal struggle, a lot of personal growing up I had to do, you know? I didn't want to be so public about it. You know? Well, I mean, yeah, I did quit. I didn't do anything for a long time. Artistically, I think I was more angry, so I was probably doing a lot more graffiti. I think graffiti is a good way to express your anger, you know? That's why I do it. When I'm pissed is when I go out and I write up shit. And music, I felt like at that time I had to rely on too many people. You know, like I wasn't producing my own shit. I wasn't recording my own shit. I was just a writer, like a songwriter and a guitar player. And like I always left everything else to somebody else, you know? And I felt like the technology was really intimidating. I remember when I first went into a recording studio, it was Pro Tools, Digit 001. And I would look at that shit and just be like, what the fuck? Like, you know? The technology was like, only computer nerds could do that shit. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even open a file if I wanted to, you know? But now it's like, dude, you can make an album on your phone, man. You know? And you can send it to somebody to get mixed and mastered. And if you have the money, it'll sound like Katy Perry, bro. It's kind of hard to talk about when you think about it because everybody goes through hard times. And I think that hard times make people stronger and wiser. But there are certain hard times that can kill you. And I think that if I didn't go through what I did, I would be a lot softer. I would be a lot less grateful for things. But am I glad that I went through it? Absolutely not, man, because I could have died. You know? I wouldn't recommend that lifestyle to anybody. You know? Like, I have people in my family who are completely soft, man. Like their hands are soft. You know, like they're physically delicate because they've had easy lives, but they're also much less grateful, like I said, you know, like they don't appreciate things, you know. They don't realize how things could just disappear, you know. And not just things, but people. People disappear, you know. I think that there's people in my family that haven't even been to a funeral. I've been to like 20. That. And I think that things like that make you smarter, wiser, and just a more loving person, man. But you can't recommend that lifestyle to somebody, bro. You know, it's not like you can say, hey, go out and live a hard life, man. You know, because the hard life could end your life. So let's just say I had a hard life. When you go through what I did, you have to find ways to express your strife in a healthy manner. And when you write music, you can lose yourself, but not lose yourself. You know, it's a healthy way of. You can have the worst day and write the saddest song, but after you feel happy because you made a good sad song. You know, it's like, yeah, it's sad, but it's good. And if you practice enough, you're like, I'm getting really fucking good at writing sad songs. And then maybe you could make a career out of it, you know? You feel like you did something about it. It's not like you just went through all that pain for no reason, you know? Like, there's something good came from it, you know?